This is Roots, where movement becomes memory. After the family gathering, life did not pause. It kept moving, quietly, ordinarily, into work, people, and places I did not yet understand as transitions, only as life continuing. Before Pretoria, before relocation, before I understood what movement would mean eventually, there was work. In what would have been my final year of studies, I found myself at Catholic Welfare and Development. My work was simple in structure, but global in reach. I sorted foreign donations, British pounds, Irish pounds, French francs, Dutch guilders, Swedish krona. Money from places I had never been, arriving in services of places I knew only in fragments. And I began to understand something quietly. That distance does not stop impact. And that work in one place can shape lives in another. I traveled into the city by train. Cape Town station, then walking through Riebeck Street towards Somerset Road. Kapini Street always felt familiar, a name my mother would pronounce with memory in her voice. Kapini Street. The Cape Doctor shaped the city without permission. Some days it pushed you forward. Some days it resisted you completely. You learned to walk with it rather than against it. It was the morning when I was walking in a rush. Riebeck Street was already doing what it does. A steady incline that quietly increases effort without announcing it. You think you're simply walking to work, but your body is already negotiating slope, time, wind, and pace at the same time. Cape Town does not only move air, it moves you through it. Between buildings, the wind compresses and accelerates, a canyon effect I only later learned had a name. In that moment, I was caught in it. Not dramatically, not violently, but enough to shift direction, enough to break stride. And I found myself inside the doorway of a bakery. Not fully deciding it, not fully resisting it, just arriving there because movement had been interrupted by forces I hadn't accounted for. Inside, outside, a threshold I did not plan to cross. I I looked back through the bakery doorway and felt it differently. Not as movement anymore, but as a rival I had not fully chosen. Just beyond the glass, a tour bus was parked at the curb. Inside it, tourists sat watching the city move past them. Stationary inside motion, while I was in motion, caught in interruption. The city continued without me for a second, as if I had stepped out of its timing. And I stood at a counter trying to reassemble the rhythm of the morning. To recover the moment, I bought a croissant. Not because I intended to stop, but because I had already been made to. When the contract ended, I did not yet understand endings. I thought they were conclusions. I would later learn they were transitions without instructions. Then came Holy Trinity Primary, a place where work, family, and community existed side by side, but never confused themselves. Staff would sometimes ask me, "Can you call your mother?" And I would answer, "My mother is at home. Lorraine works next door." Mom had a way of explaining it. She said, "We wear different hats. The person remains the same. The role changes." That idea stayed with me because it allowed relationships to remain intact even when responsibilities shifted. After school, I would walk across to Mom's office, and there I met Saskia, Nancy, and Pia, and sometimes my cousin Nadine completing her social work training. Saskia and Nancy were exchange students. Through them, Chantal and I were introduced to life on the other side of the mountain. Suddenly the city widened. Signal Hill picnics, Clifton afternoons, small conversations that carried unexpected perspectives. Saskia's green beetle became part of that geography. A small car moving us through a city that no longer felt fixed. Then came Balvenie Primary, and from there another opening. A friend mentioned an opportunity at LifeLine, Childline. The role included completing a personal growth course, later counselling training. Work that did not only ask what you do, but who you were becoming. In those sessions, I learned something difficult. That how people see you is not always who you are. At one point, I was told that my bubbly personality might be a mask. It unsettled me at the time, but I came to understand something important. Feedback is perception, not definition. People interpret through their own experience, their own history, their own lens. And I began to hold that more lightly. At the end of that period, I found myself once again at a threshold. No clear direction, no certainty, only movement continuing. Then a colleague gave me a number. Call this. It seemed ordinary, but it would lead to a school I had never seen, a role I had not imagined, and a city I would soon begin to understand differently. Looking back now, I understand it more clearly. Nothing was random. It only felt that way at the time. Work was never just work. It was a revolving door. Some doors closed, some opened, some turned long enough for me to step through without realizing I had already changed direction. This is Roots, and I'm still learning which doors were mine to walk through. Look again.